Unbelievable. Bracha of a Maggid shiur. The second you see a daf like this, you're like, this is Kodesh Kodashim. Good evening. Hope all of you are doing well. Baruch Hashem, the final blot in Maseches Chagigah, the final blot in Seder Moed. Today, I think we are right now at 790 some odd blot in Shas, which is just about 1%. And it's a big deal. And I think the 800th blot is around Daf Zayin in about a week or so. And we will celebrate that then as well, because these are very big accomplishments, Baruch Hashem. So we're going to learn just for a little bit. We're starting more than halfway down at the 2 dots on Chav Zayin and Aleph, where it says V'chachamim Omrim. We'll read from there till the end. We'll learn one quick Maharsha, and then we'll call it a day, and we'll have a little Rikud maybe, if you guys are in the mood. Little dance, and then we're going to actually celebrate Friday night. We're almost full actually for the dinner. If you haven't signed up, you definitely should do so. Everyone who signed up, I looked on the back and I got your message. You're good, and Hirsch also sponsored, is joining the sponsorship as well. A couple of others. So, all right, let's go. Let's get started. So we had said in our Mishnah, if you want to just glance back to the top of Chavav Amud Beis, you'll see that the Mishnah at the end of that Mishnah had said that the Mizbechos, the Tanakama was of the opinion that they are kikarka. They can't become tamei because they're mechuber lekarka. Anything that's mechuber lekarka can't become tamei. If you have you have something that's going to cause for tummy of one of the shmona shratzim, and it touches the wall of the house is fine. It can't be matame because it's karka. The Chachamim said at the end of that Mishnah, mipnei shehin mitzupin. The reason they can't become tamei is because they're covered. So that's where the Gemara picks up over here. Actually, we're a little bit higher. Just kidding. We're a third of the way down on Chav Zayin. I skipped a little bit. Third of the way down. That's right. So the Gemara says, Kol ha-kelim shebemikdash yesh lam shnim. We said that all of the kelim in the base of Mikdash had doubles and triples just in case they became tamei. And then the Mishnah had said, on the top right, the Mishnah had said that everything can become tamei except for the mizbechos. So the Gemara says, mizbech hanachoshes. How do we know that? Tichsiv mizbach adama ta'aseli. It has to be made from the ground, and things from the ground cannot become tamei if they're attached to the ground. And mizbach hazahav. How do we know about the mizbech hazahav? Tichsiv hamenorah v'hamizbachos. And there it says it's made from the menorah and the mizbech are made with gold. And iskash mizbechos zelozeh. And these two mizbechos are compared. So really, the primary source for the mizbech hanachoshes is the fact that it's mizbach adama, and the Mizbeach HaZahav is learned by comparison to that through a hekesh. Then the Gemara says, in regards to the Chachamim had said that Mibnei Shehem Mitzupin, because they're covered in gold. And in the context of the Mishnah, when we were learning, it seemed to be that was a reason that they were therefore not able to become tamei. But the Gemara says, wait a second. Gold, metals are mekabel tuma. Metals are susceptible to becoming tamei. Adarabba, kevan de mitzupin ninhu mitamu. Once they are already covered, that's a reason to become tamei. It's not a reason to say that you're not tamei. In our Mishnah, when the Chachamim stated their opinion, which is the Mishnah at the top right on Chavav Amud Beis, the last line, the Chachamim know the reason they don't become tamei is because they're covered. The Gemara says the exact opposite. Metal is susceptible to tuma. It's not like wood. It says the Gemara, Emo, you're right. The Chachamim mitam and mipnei shein mitzupin. The Chachamim argue with Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Eliezer was of the opinion that if it's mechuber lekarka, it cannot become tamei. The Chachamim said, not true. It can become tamei because metal is mekabel tuma. So seemingly the Chachamim didn't have this idea of that which is attached to the ground cannot become tamei. Another answer. This is a slightly more complicated answer, but the Gemara says that the Rabbanon, the Chachamim, were not talking about their own shita. They were just saying the Rabbi Eliezer kamre. They were saying within Rabbi Eliezer, my daitach. What is the reason that you hold that there is no tuma by the mizbeach? Are you saying it's mishum de mitzupin? It's because they're covered? Well, I don't hold this way, but you might hold this way, Rabbi Eliezer. Mivtal batil tzipui and gabayhu. We would then say that the metal will become batil, nullified to the actual core build of the mizbeach. And therefore, like the sheet of Rabbi Eliezer said, is that there's not going to be any tuma. Next, the next pieces of Gemara are two agadatas, two beautiful agadatas, and with that we'll close the Masechta. We're 2 lines into the wide lines, 2/3 of the way down. Chav Zayin and Aleph. Says the Gemara, Amar Rabbi Abba, Amar Rabbi Lazar, Talmidei Chachamim, Ein or shel Gehenim sholetas bahem. If you have a person who's a Torah scholar, the fires of Gehenim, they will not be able to take control over someone. Kal v'chomer mi salmandra. This is learned out from the salmandra. What's a salmandra? So we're quickly going to see the word salamander. What does Rashi say? Not that. The Rashi says 5 lines from the bottom, inner margin, dibur hamaschal salmandra. Chaya, it's an animal. Hanivres min ha'or. That's created from fire. Kshebor in eish b'makom echad sheva shanim tamid b'li hefsek. When you have a running fire for 7 years, nonstop, 7 years, 365 days. At the end, an animal walks out of the fire. This animal is called the salmandra. So what's the kal v'chomer of the Gemara? Kal v'chomer mi salmandra. Uma salmandra shetoledes eishi. This animal, which is a derivative of, it's the child of the product of fire, and hasach midama ein or sholetes bo. And if one were to take the blood of this animal and put it on their skin, they too would then be impervious to fire. It would protect them from fire. Then Talmud Chacham shechol gufan eish. Their whole body is eish. Their whole atzmi is, everything about them is fire. So people who are steeped in Torah, Talmidei Chachamim, we have to define a Talmid Chacham. Sometimes in halacha we are Talmidei Chachamim even though we're not Talmidei Chachamim, and sometimes in halacha Talmid Chacham is of a caliber, of a certain type of learning level. So in this case, I think it's the loftier level. But as it relates to being like for Kiddush Hashem purposes, everyone's a Talmid Chacham. You might as well be the chief rabbi of any country you want, big countries, because when you walk around as an Orthodox Jew, everybody knows that you represent the Jewish people. So in that case, for sure. But here, I think it's talking about the Talmid Chacham of stature, who's a really big learner. Last piece of Gemara for the Masechta and for the Seder. Amar Reish Lakish, Ein or shel Gehenim sholetes beposhe Yisrael. The fires of Gehenim do not take any control over the sinners of Eretz Yisrael. That's good. Thank God. Kal v'chomer mi mizbeach hazav, and this can be learned from the mizbeach hazav. Mizbeach hazav was in the inner chamber where the Ketores was brought, and it had a layer of gold on it. Uma mizbeach hazav she'ein alav ela ke'ove dinar zahav. The mizbeach hazav only had a thin layer of gold on the top. If you can imagine a tablecloth as a mashal, a tablecloth on top of a table, it's very, very thin. And there, what happened? Kama shanim ein ha'or sholetes bo. So many years, so many times the fire was brought in the Beis Hamikdash, and still the metal is intact; it wasn't ruined. So poshe Yisrael shemalein mitzvos kirimon. Even the people who are sinners, even the people who don't keep halacha properly, still there are so many things that we do in halacha that are perfect and beautiful, even if we're not perfect. Shemalein mitzvos kirimon. We're filled with mitzvos, with positive commandments in the Torah, like a pomegranate. Dichsiv kefelach harimon rakosech, a pasuk in shiur Hashem al tikri rakosech ela reikanin shebach. You are like a pomegranate, you who are the empty ones of the Jewish people. And if that's true by the Mizbeach HaZahav, then all the more so it is true by us. Alachas kama b'kama. Baruch Hashem hadron alach chomer b'kodesh uslicha la Maseches Chagigah. Baruch Hashem, we finished the entire Seder of Shas up until this point, an unbelievable accomplishment, nearly 30% of Shas, which is amazing to think about. And the siyum that we're going to have this Friday night will be celebrated in the way that we intended on celebrating our first Masech, the Maseches Brachos, that COVID shut down for us, in the same room, festively and without masks. Baruch Hashem. Mazel tov. Mazel tov. To be continued. First Masech.